What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham G.S. Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the September 19th, 2022 edition of Raw Talk, hosted as always by Jackie Redmond, Matt Camp in the studio. They start off the show by running down the biggest headlines from Monday's Raw, including recapping the Kevin Owens-Austin Theory match. That was won by Kevin Owens. Great match, once again, from those two. Backstage, Sarah Schreiber catches up with Alpha Academy. And next week, they're going to be facing Gargano and Owens in tag team action, which I'm looking forward to. Chad Gable says that you can't shoosh a shoosher. And he goes a little bit overboard with the shoosh stuff now, but it's still entertaining, so I can't really complain. But he promises to put Owens and Gargano down next week, even though it's in Owens' home turf, home country of Canada, in Edmonton specifically. I think that's where Owens is from in particular, not just like Toronto or Montreal. I think he's from Edmonton, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, Gable says that after they win, which they won't, Otis will sing the American anthem after their victory next week, which, again, I almost wish they would win so we can get that, although it won't, unfortunately. Booker T is the special guest analyst on the episode for Raw Talk this week, and he says Theory has a lot to think about coming off his latest loss, and has a lot of soul-searching to do as well. So it was interesting that Booker acknowledged that Theory's lost a lot as of late, and he really has. I can probably only name maybe one or two matches he's won since becoming Mr. Money in the Bank like 2.5 months ago. So, listen, I know Gargano got involved, and it wasn't exactly a clean win, which I would almost prefer. It's a double-edged sword. I would prefer a clean win, but I think Theory already lost clean to Owens 2 weeks ago. And then when you do the distraction finish, we got 3 or 4 of those on Monday's Raw. So we had a lot of those finishes. I understand what they're going for to protect Theory, but the bottom line is, as Booker said, he's lost a lot lately. He won that briefcase almost 3 months ago. And in that time, he he beat Dolph Ziggler in the main event of Raw about a month ago. Beyond that, though, he lost to Riddick Moss, I remember, Madcap, whatever the fuck, by DQ on SmackDown. He lost to Owens now twice. He lost to Bobby Lashley twice. He failed to win back the United States Championship from him at SummerSlam 2 months ago. He's lost on Raw, he's lost tag team matches, I know, among other stuff, so he needs more wins. And I think inevitably he's going to lose to Gargano when that match comes to fruition, which very well could be at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. Probably not in an Extreme Rules match, but when that match happens, he's probably losing that too. I don't like the mindset of, he has the briefcase, so it's okay, because people are going to buy into him anyway as a viable world champion. Well, if he fucking loses all the time, then he won't be a credible world champion from the get-go. So they got to do a better job, and Triple H specifically, because he's in charge of the creative now. They have to do a better job of protecting Theory and ensuring he wins more than he loses, if he is going to cash in successfully to become champion. If he doesn't, then whatever, but I wouldn't recommend that because I think he should be champion at some point. Anyway, so Matt Camp actually, in response to Booker talking about how Theory has a lot of soul-searching to do, he referenced the feud that Booker had over 10 years ago, 11 years ago at this point, which is a fucking eternity ago for me. Feels like it was yesterday, though, with Cody Rhodes. When Cody Rhodes was coming up as the Intercontinental Champion, Booker T tried to bestow some advice upon him. It led to 2 matches, I think, between the two, at TLC and again on SmackDown soon after. I think on the first SmackDown of 2012, and both were good matches, too. I think that was Booker's final real feud in the company. I think he wrestled one more time at Mania 28 in a fucking tag team match. I don't think he's wrestled since, though, in WWE, which is crazy because he's still in amazing shape, and he's wrestled a couple times for his own promotion. But anyway, moving on. Booker says he was impressed by Theory. He just asked to win more, which I agree with. Booker also jokes that he's never won a match in Canada, and it's going to be an uphill battle for Alpha Academy next week when they take on Gargano and Owens in tag team action. But don't sleep on Alpha because they are deadly, he says. He says Bianca kind of fell into the trap of what Bayley was planting as far as Bayley getting her match on her terms at Extreme Rules for the Raw Women's Championship. They replay the Miz TV segment with Miz and Ciampa almost getting abducted by Dexter Lumis, which that was a nice little segment. They also recap Brawling Brutes knocking out the Profits, and the Brutes are the number 1 contenders to the undisputed WWE Tag Team titles. They get their shot this Friday on SmackDown against the Usos. Ridge Holland says, plain and short, he just says that they will be the next WWE Tag Team Champions come Friday SmackDown. Butch, a.k.a. Pete Dunne, says that every night is fight night and walks off with the microphone in his hand while Kevin Patrick just stands there shook, which was fantastic. Booker says that the Usos are the best tag team in the world right now. So somewhere the Usos, or rather the Young Bucks, as if they even watch fucking Raw Talk, are drafting their next bio on Twitter, taking a shot at Booker T for him calling the Usos the best tag team in the world. And I think they had some bad blood with Booker T at one point, actually. Like back in the TNA days. I might be wrong, but I feel like there was some issues there between the two, and they ended up getting over it. But I think that was a point of contention, at least for a little while. I mean, I might be wrong. I might be thinking of someone else, but I'm pretty sure it was Booker and the Bucks, like back in the 2010 TNA days. Anyway, so they hype up Roman Reigns and Logan Paul for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship at Crown Jewel, as made official at the press conference on Saturday. Booker T says that Logan Paul, while he does respect him as an athlete and as a boxer and a social media mogul or whatever, he will take, and I quote, a universal ass-whooping in the hands of Roman Reigns come Crown Jewel in November. To wind down here, they recap the Judgment Day win over Rey Mysterio and Riddle on Raw this week. They catch up with Judgment Day backstage, does Sarah Schreiber, and Rhea Ripley jokes about, as they said on Raw, the whole Mountain of Omnipotence thing. They kind of make fun of that, which is funny because I feel like they might be poking fun at people online, also making fun of the Mountain of Omnipotence, that stupid line that Edge used in his promo when he first turned heel. And I actually liked heel Edge, but some of the stuff that he was talking about really didn't make a whole lot of sense. And the whole Mountain of Omnipotence thing just sounds like a fucking Vince McMahon term. Maybe it was Edge's, but it was stupid then and it's stupid now, so it was funny they were joking at the expense of that stupid line from earlier this year. Priest just simply says that Riddle will fall next week, and that was about it as they walked off laughing. Matt Camp actually referenced that Riddle and Priest go back to their training days. They came up together, I think, at the Monster Factory here in the Northeast back in the day. Fun fact, too, I don't think those two have ever had a, first of all, televised match on the main roster one-on-one, but I think the only match they've had in WWE that was televised, and they probably have had house show matches, was coincidentally Damian Priest's first match in WWE on WWE TV. That being on an episode of NXT back in December of 2018. They taped it soon after Priest came over from Ring of Honor, and that was before they gave him the new name change, because he didn't re-debut as Damian Priest until like June of 2019. So he was in the company for at least 6 or 7, 8 months as Punishment Martinez, and I don't know if they were calling him Priest soon after that, but he had a match on NXT TV, and they called him Punishment Martinez, and Riddle beat him in that match. It was Priest's first match on WWE TV upon being signed, so fun fact for you there. And that was about it. Speaking of the Judgment Day, they plugged them for the bump on Wednesday, and that was about it. So another middle-of-the-road edition of Raw Talk this week. Really nothing worth seeking out. The Judgment Day are seemingly having more fun in their ranks. I mean, the group is still not the best booked. I mean, yeah, they'll win on Raw when it doesn't really matter, but they'll never win on fucking pay-per-view at this point. I mean, they did with Edge, but since Edge got booted, they lost at SummerSlam. They lost at Clash. Damian Priest lost to Edge last month. And they'll win these these little, smaller, more meaningless matches, but never win when it matters most. So we'll see what happens when the next pay-per-view match comes along between them and Rey Mysterio or whoever, and Edge and whatever. So we had that. I mentioned Alpha Academy. They're always entertaining. And we heard very briefly from the Brawling Brutes for the first time here on Raw Talk. So solid edition of Raw Talk this week, hearing from all tag teams and factions, so that made it slightly more interesting. Thank you guys for checking out my review of Raw Talk for this week for September 19th, 2022. I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Have an awesome one, guys. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.